Hello, my name is Emma Menzies, and for my individual self-improvement project, I decided to focus on nutrition, specifically substituting meatless proteins or lean meat into my diet to slowly become less dependent on red meat as a protein. And the main reason I chose this was for the environmental effects, as red meat consumption is responsible for releasing greenhouse gases into the environment, as well as the health benefits of substituting red meat out of your diet, as red meat is a main source of sodium, which results in a high blood pressure, which can then lead to heart problems such as heart attacks. Now, at the beginning of this project, I made a very strict plan as to how I should go about substituting red meat out of my diet. So, for example, for the first week, I said 1 out of my 3 meals must substitute red meat for an alternative for 3 days out of the week. And what I found as I practiced this activity, I was not as structured in my plan to not eat red meat. It was mainly whenever I had the opportunity to choose an option that did not have red meat in it, I would choose that option. Now, a few examples of the substitutes that I would choose instead of red meat were primarily shrimp and chicken. I ate lots of chicken for protein, and you can see images of some of the foods on my left and right, as well as basing my meals around vegetables, as I found that vegetables actually filled me up and made me feel more refreshed than eating those dense red meat filled meals. So before I began actually substituting red meat out of my diet, I took my blood pressure at the local Publix by my house, and I found that my blood pressure was 98/68, which is fairly normal for a young adult woman with my weight. And after the 5-week span of consciously substituting out red meat from my diet, it turns out my blood pressure did lower by 1 point to 97/68. So I would say that my experiment/project was successful in the fact that I did in fact attempt to substitute red meat out of my diet, and that my blood pressure did lower as a result. Another helpful site that I found while I was researching was How to Cut Red Meat Out of Your Diet by Jonay Fredericks, and they found that eating beans and poultry and fish are your best 3 main sources of protein aside from red meat. And they also mentioned to make sure you're not losing out on certain minerals that you would get from red meat, such as B12. B12 is a vitamin that is found in red meat, and many vegetarians and vegans do take B12 supplements every day so that they don't miss out on that very vital element in their diet. Moving forward after this project, I still do really want to make conscious decisions about replacing red meat in my diet with meatless proteins or lean meat, as I felt less bloated by the end of the day and refreshed. I also feel as though I am doing my part in reversing the effects of climate change, and I feel better about the fact that my blood pressure has lowered as a result, and that I am less susceptible to getting heart problems such as heart attacks. Thank you for watching, and thank you for an amazing class.